Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the review of Week 16, looking at Week 17 picks, the final week of the regular season here in the NFL season. Coming off an interesting week that did not go quite as well as we would hope, but we're going to try and finish strong here with the craziest of all weeks, Week 17. The video is coming late this week due to the fact that it's not normal. We got teams that are out of it, teams that are resting starters, players that are injured, teams with nothing to play for, teams with something to play for, and just trying to figure out all the news. As this is Friday evening, things could still change between now and Sunday. So just really trying to get my head wrapped around what's going on, and that was just not very clear early in the week. But let's recap last week. So we went with a Drew Brees to Michael Thomas, bringing it back with Julio Jones stack, and I was really high on this. I was looking at Michael Thomas in cash all week. Really liked this position. And then Friday evening or Saturday, Michael Thomas shows up on the injury report late in the week. Never a good thing. So I kind of got off him a little bit. Still had a decent amount of him, less than I probably would have. And it's just, he was affected by that hamstring injury. And didn't quite have the game that we were hoping for. So you're looking at Drew Brees here, was hoping for 21 points, ended up with 12.1. Definitely disappointed there. Running game got going again, like it has all year. Just was looking for maybe some of those to be, dump offs to Ingram or to Kamara, and they just both were running all over him to get in. Now Michael Thomas did have, had an okay game, but again was a little hamstrung there. 18.6, what we were looking for. Only got his 10.6 again. Really kind of a disappointment. Had some pretty decent lineups that he kind of sunk with where his price was. That was painful. But Julio, on the other side, did great. 18 points we were hoping for, got us 24.9. Went over 100 yards, was hoping to get a little bit more and have an explosion game, but I don't think the Saints' offense was quite where it was revved up as I thought it would be, but still pretty happy with Julio. Tight end side, definitely hit it out of the park with Antonio Gates. He was cheap. He was my favorite play of the week, 8.9 points. Put up 20.1 on the actual. Was one of the keys you need to unlock a good roster this last week, and hopefully you guys had a lot of them. Ricky Seals-Jones was kind of a swing through the fences here, looking for 5.8. Again, was cheap. Put up a donut. He's been having good weeks. Thought he was in a pretty good matchup. Was not expecting him to put up a goose egg here, but that's what happened. Did have exposure to him, but had a lot of Antonio Gates, so luckily it kind of evened itself out. And then to the two busts again this week, Devin Funchess and D.D. Westbrook. Funchess looked for 14.3, only got us 4.1. Again, the other receivers kind of came out. Greg Olsen did well. Even McCaffrey didn't have a good game. Cam was just kind of so-so. It just really came out flatter than I was expecting. Now Carolina, almost got beat there to Tampa Bay when they could have locked some things up. Had to come back there at the very, very end and just wasn't as high scoring, or was there enough passing in the game like I thought there might be. D.D. Westbrook again looking for 14 points, got us 11.4. It was close, but got outshone again by Keelan Cole, who went over 100 yards. So Westbrook just didn't perform here. Really thought it was a good bounce back spot for him. Just wasn't the case. We move on here to the next week and see what we can do better. I think, the Funchess and D.D. Westbrook thing was probably a little bit of a miscalculation. D.D. Westbrook was about $1,000 higher than Keelan Cole. Probably both projected for similar targets. Probably should have went with the cheaper guy there. I just think D.D. Westbrook is a really good talent, and could see him having a 200-yard receiving game. He just hasn't done it yet. So I was looking for the bounce back there, trying to be a little different. With Cole coming off a huge game and his ownership was inflated, but he backed it up 2 weeks in a row. But we can't dwell on it. We got to kind of look forward and see what's coming next. So this week, we're going right back to a game that I liked. We're going to Cam. And except this time I'm coming to Christian McCaffrey on the stack and bringing it back with Julio Jones. So similar names that I've had here. I've had Cam a lot this year, and he's been up and down, but we're in a really good spot here. We got 45-point Vegas total with a 3.5-point spread. And the nice thing here in Week 17 is both these teams, they need to win for either getting into the playoffs or positioning. And that's hard to come by right now. We've got teams that are playing for nothing. Like I said, we've got starters resting. We've got all sorts of crazy stuff going on. But these two teams are going to be going all out to try and win. And that's just a luxury this week. Now, Cam has double-digit carries in each of his last 3 games. So, again, as a quarterback, if you're going to run the ball 10-plus times a game, That's going to way increase your floor. He had a rushing touchdown last week, kind of saved his week. But if he can get a few more passing touchdowns and continue to have that kind of volume on the ground, this is a great great person to have, especially when they need to go all out. Probably going to put a lot of the pressure on Cam, put it on his shoulders, let him go win the game. Hopefully, put up a lot of fantasy points. And the Atlanta defense has been giving up points all year to pass catching running backs, right? So they've bled points to that. I've attacked them throughout the year. And now enter Christian McCaffrey, who's getting 5 to 7 targets a game with an upside of 14. I mean, look at this game log. He's just continued to get good volume in the passing game. And he has about 4 or 5 receiving touchdowns on the year. So here's a guy who's been involved in the passing game, more so since they made the trade, and is playing kind of like a slot receiver role, and now he gets to go against this Atlanta defense. So I just really like this combination. We can get some of the rushing, we can get some of the dump-off passes, maybe Cam runs another one in, try and soak up as many of the touchdowns as they're going to get, and I think Christian McCaffrey can be a big part of that. And he put up 20 DK points against this Atlanta team earlier this year. Again, pass-catching running back, does well against Atlanta. He did it earlier this year in their first matchup, and look for that to continue this week. Now, Julio has been really up and down this entire year, but he has had success against Carolina. In his last 3 games, he's put up 6 catches for 118 yards, 12 catches for 300 yards and a touchdown, and 4 catches for 60 yards. So a really good continuation against this team, division rival, and they both need to win. It just seems like a good spot. And the Carolina defense is beatable at the cornerback position. There are 2 cornerbacks. The best one is rated 89th on Pro Football Focus, right? So, and their second quarterback is even worse than that. You can beat them on the perimeter. Here's Julio Jones, big, tough receiver on the perimeter who's had success against them. The last, 3 times they've played in a division situation where they both need to win. I just like the situation for all parties involved, and so I want to attack this game as it's a rarity in this week when both teams really need to win. So let's look at some tight ends. An area where I've seemed to have the most success the last few weeks is kind of picking some good tight ends. Vernon Davis is sticking out to me this week. We got a 39.5 point Vegas total with a 3.5 point spread, so not a whole lot of points here. But he's going against the Giants, and we're #flowchart life again, right? Are the Cleveland Browns or the New York Giants playing? Yes. Does the team employ a tight end? Yes. There's Vernon Davis. We're playing him. He's been up and down, but he has shown target upside this season, up to 11 targets. But 3, 4, 7 the last few weeks, caught 2 touchdowns, 2 of the last 3 games. And again, he's going in one of the best possible matchups he can have. It's just tough to pass up this great matchup. And another thing I'm looking at is motivation. Kirk Cousins has been franchise tagged. I think he's the first quarterback to get franchise tagged 2 years in a row. They just haven't given him a long-term extension. He's playing for a huge payout. He's looked pretty good this year. He looked better in years past, but, if he can come out here and have a big game, that's what he's playing for. Whether they want to sign him there with the Redskins, I'm sure that's what he would prefer, and maybe they would prefer. They just have not been very committal. Or if another team, wants to pay him, big quarterback salary money, he's playing for something. And Vernon Davis is right there, has been a target he went to. I just think it's a good spot for this team, for a couple players there. On the opposite end of the spectrum, paying up for Rob Gronkowski this week. So here we go, 43.5 point Vegas total with a 16.5 point spread. The Patriots are set to just trounce the Jets in this Week 17 finale, because the Pats are playing for the 1 seed and home field. They could lose that to the Steelers still. So they've got something to play for right now, and that's who I want to play. I want to play teams who have something to play for. They're huge favorites in a divisional game at the end of the year, something I like. And after they lost to the Dolphins, another divisional team, they've just been on a tear recently, and especially Gronk, who's been doing Gronk things the last few weeks, right? 5 for 67 and a touchdown, 9 for 168, 9 for 147, 5 for 82 and 2 touchdowns last 4 games. Just been crushing it. And I don't see anything changing here. They've still got some injuries in the receiving core, a couple running backs that are going to be out this week. There's Gronkowski right there for Tom Brady to target in a game where they want to win. They want to go into the playoffs on an uptick, get that 1 seed, and be ready to roll. So the Patriots also have the highest implied total this week, in a week that they need to win. So they're implied to score big, implied to win big. If they're going to do that, Gronkowski's going to be a big part of that. Really like him this week. So at value wide receiver, we're back to some serious, have some value out there. And that's with Josh Reynolds, who we're in a 43-point Vegas total with a 3.5-point spread. And the Ravens are sitting a lot of their starters, including Cooper Kupp for right now. I'm not so sure Sammy Watkins, some of their other receivers may not get pulled in this game. Sean McVay, the coach, has really talked about resting guys and getting ready for the playoffs. They can improve their position. So this gives opportunities to a guy like Josh Reynolds. Now, Reynolds has shown flashes in the past, looked good. Now he's thrust into a starting role. He got like 6-7 targets there when Robert Woods was hurt. And now he may be in a position for sure where at least one wide receiver is sitting, but throughout the game, others might do the same. And he's priced at the bare minimum salary, $3,000 for receivers. And then he gets this great matchup against the 49ers. They're giving up 35 DK points per game to the wide receiver position. Here's a guy getting more opportunities. If he gets 6 targets at a $3K price, against this defense, he's going to exceed value. If he gets into the box, scores a touchdown, that's just gravy. But really like his positioning this week. Now on the other side here, going with T.Y. Hilton here for the Colts, who has had an up and down year for sure. But we're in a 40-point Vegas total with a 5.5-point spread. And T.Y. versus Houston has been a very profitable route in the past. His last 3 games, 5 for 175, 2 touchdowns, 9 for 115 and touchdowns, 3 for 49, no touchdowns, but he had 9 targets there. In all 3 games, 9, 13, 9 targets. Just has been an absolute beast. Definitely the last 2 have been without Andrew Luck, so that hasn't seemed to be a requirement for him to beat Houston, whereas most of the time, T.Y. with Andrew Luck is much, much better. But against Houston, division rival again, he's doing great. He's coming off a 12-target game last week. He's really only had good games against weak defenses this year. And Houston, here we go coming in, he's already torched them this year. They're giving up 37.1 DraftKings points per game to the wide receivers. They've had a lot of injuries since about the middle of the season, and it's been a defense we've continued to target. And now I see no reason why not to do that. I think Jacoby Brissett, T.Y. Hilton's another good stack to use, probably even for cash games given his price. And T.Y. just on his own, I think is in a position to really try to finish this year strong against a division rival, try and get another win, stick it to him. Of course, the Colts need to lose to get a better draft position, so what will they do? Probably win. That's just kind of the way the year's gone for them. So that's it. Good luck to everyone in Week 17. Appreciate everyone's views. As always, you can like, comment, subscribe here on YouTube. Follow me anytime on Twitter @MPlanUp. Probably won't be doing any videos for the playoff slates, but definitely will be playing. Hopefully, if you guys are playing this week in Week 17, you have some good luck out there. We're going to have some crazy plays, going to have some crazy news. Everyone enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk to you guys later. See ya.